My name is Lauren Elder, and this is my term 1312 MUX week 1 presentation video. I decided to do my app or my prototype on a finance tracker. The main intent of the application is to keep track of monthly expenses and also have a page where these expenses can be temporarily modified so that a person can see the direct impact that modifying a service to save money would have on their total monthly expenses. I did do my questionnaire. Surprisingly enough, I only know 2 people who have iPhones. So I will be doing my review video with my neighbor. She's owned her iPhone for 3 years and has quite a bit of experience with electronics devices. My personas are basically just low income to median income people that are going through hard times and they need to find a quick and easy way to save money without having an app that does so much that it kind of overlooks the intent of the app that I'm talking about building. In my competitive app analysis, the closest ones I could find were the expense tracker, which really goes above and beyond the intent. You can set up monthly recurring charges, but it also tracks spontaneous spending. It can link to your bank account. It does so much that somebody who had the needs that I am talking about addressing would not end up using that application for that. The visibility of app status. The app looks really good, and through the outputs that it has, it really does a good job of giving the user feedback. The match between the app and the real world is the expense tracker actually connects to your bank account and will automatically feed information back and forth if you want. The user control and freedom. There pretty much is no clear-cut way that somebody could go back or undo a change they've made. And the only way to get out of a screen is to click off of the pop-up. So there's no close buttons, which I think would get pretty confusing for somebody who's not used to a lot of mobile devices. Error prevention. There is pretty much no error prevention on either one of the apps I found. I even tried to cause errors, and it seemed like the application wouldn't catch them. Consistency and standards. The expense tracker is really clear on what the intent is, what does what the words mean. Recognition rather than recall. The expense tracker has lots of different colors. They're all very well chosen, and it does a good job of just being able to look at it and make it work without having to remember where things are at. The flexibility and efficiency of use. I was pretty impressed with the expense tracker. Like I said, it does a real good job at keeping things simple and straight to the point. It looks very good, going along with the aesthetics. It's very clear. Everything seems to be properly proportioned. As far as helping users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors, I couldn't get an error to actually occur. The code would just work even though it didn't look like the output was correct. The code would still function and run, and it never would trip an error. For documentation, the expense tracker had what looks like a wonderful tutorial. It was very in-depth, had many categories, and overall I was really impressed with that. The easy financial calculator is kind of like the opposite of all that. It offers almost no feedback to the user whatsoever, other than an output on a particular page that you have to go to. The only information that I can see that it pulls from a remote source is just the currency calculator. User control and freedom. Once you get into the different options, it's very sparse. You have only what you absolutely need to make what you want to do work, and then the output and the buttons to reset or run the algorithm. There's nothing else. There's no backgrounds or anything. As far as error prevention, I pretty much ran into the same thing as the other one. There's no suggestions, there's no confirmations. It's just you put info in and you get info out. Consistency and standards. The financial calculator has an amazing amount of tools in it, but those tools get kind of complicated unless you're in a financial field. I think it's a bit much. Recognition rather than recall. The main view of the application is a table view, and there's almost no differentiation between each of the cells other than the title. So, I mean, you pretty much have to look through the list and remember what does what. The flexibility. The only flexibility I saw in the tools is you could move the order of the cells around. You could put, I guess, what you use most up top and what you don't use at the bottom. But you couldn't delete cells. They all had to be there. All you could do is change the order. That particular application is the essence of a minimalist design. It has no bells and whistles. It's basically a table view with titles, and it pops up a new view, and it's just each has its own little set of tools, and that's it. Once again, I couldn't get the app to trip any errors. It didn't throw any error codes. Didn't say that it couldn't perform that calculation correctly. It would just work even if the output didn't really look right. As far as help and documentation, that app had pretty much no documentation. Matter of fact, I don't even know what a lot of the actual tools are used for. And I think it really fell short in that department. Thank you. This is my week 1 overview or presentation video.